In this lecture, we look at what data you hold. It is really important as part of the GDPR that we understand firstly what data we hold. Secondly, we have to look at the uses we put that data to and if we have permission to use data in that way. We also need to look at how data is stored and how it is shared with other people if appropriate. What is really important under GDPR is that you document everything you do. In the case of documenting where the data came from, we have to firstly recognise what data we hold. This in itself may be a major exercise. If you can think of different organisations who may have a centralised function that holds information, but perhaps individual staff members may hold different information, perhaps on Excel spreadsheets on personal PCs, perhaps on Word documents on personal PCs, and so on. So the first step is really to understand and recognise what data we hold. Remember, we have to justify why we hold that data. We have to think about, do we need to hold all bits of that data? If, for example, you hold someone's date of birth, why do we hold that particular data? That is, why do we hold the person's date of birth? We have to justify why we hold the data. Also, it is important that we understand where we got the data from, and we should document that too. In other words, did we buy the data from some data source? Did we get the data from a web form that someone had completed on our website? Did we get the data from warranty or guarantee cards? And very importantly, having got that data, can we justify 1, why we have it, and 2, that we have the explicit permission of that data subject to hold and use that data very explicitly for very specific reasons. Remember, it is no longer enough just to gather as much data as we want, just in case we need it. We have to hold data that is accurate and relevant and limited to what we absolutely need to carry out our transactions. Importantly, remember that the data subject must have given you explicit permission to hold and use that data and to do so for a very specific purpose. Critically, we must document everything that we do for GDPR. It is really important that should in some case the regulatory body or the supervisory authority wish to talk to us about data protection, they wish to challenge a complaint from someone who suggests we are using their data inappropriately. It is much more likely that we can be successful in defending our actions if we have written down and documented what data we hold, why we hold it, and demonstrate we have specific and explicit authority to use the data in this way. Remember too that we must document where the data came from in the first place. Did we collect it from a web forum, from a guarantee forum? Did we buy it from a third party, etc.? Although your DPO will not know all of the information held in the organisation, they should provide a standard template to record the information. This will make it easy to ensure that all information is kept in a concise way and that people from across the organisation will be able to look at each other's data. It will also make it easier for the DPO to respond to any queries about data held. Just to reiterate that it is important we record the data, what we use for and how it exits the organisation. This is important because we may have to tell third parties and or the regulators about what we do with data. Although having to document what we do with data does seem rather tiresome and a bit of a burden, it will help us prove that we comply with the 6 principles of GDPR and GDPR itself. This could save the organisation a significant amount of time and monetary fines at a later date if we are acting properly and or can justify our decisions. We have brought together a simple checklist to help you. The following points may be useful. 1. Where did I get this information from in the first place? 2. What do I use the data for? 3. Do I need all of the data or do I need it at all? 4. Do I have explicit permission from the data subject to hold and use the data in the way that I am using it? Point 5. Do I hold the data securely? 6. Do I pass the data on to other people? 7. Do I have a lawful right to pass that information on to others? 8. Do I record all of the above, and can I justify my actions in relation to this data? 9. Do I meet the 6 principles of GDPR, and can I justify and evidence this?